Hey guys, it's Sonia here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining another episode of Fresh Approach. Fresh Approach Fitness, Fresh Approach Wellness. At the end of the day, it's a fresh approach. And I am your cheeky co-host. No, I'm kidding. I am your cheeky host, Sonia. Sonia Janice. I don't use my married name very often. I don't use my maiden name very often. That is Sonia Varden. At the end of the day, I'm Sonia, and pleased to meet you. Today and every day, I am here for you, helping you step into the world as the best version of you. Whether you do that through a mindset makeover course, whether you do that through any of the podcasts that you're listening to, books that you're reading, any of my workshops that I deliver in a workplace wellness facet, or even one on one through or some of our group coaching sessions, I am pleased to meet you. And if you're catching the YouTube video, I'm bouncing around here. I have not settled yet. I've not settled yet into my office. I've been sitting here working, but not settled, not grounded. You guys want to do this together? You want to get grounded with me? Ready? Deep breath in, shoulders back, down. Do it again. And one more time. Open your eyes. And if you were driving, I hope you did not close your mind. Um, Guys, thank you so much for joining me today and every single day. Today's podcast show is all about how to be your own best friend. And I've discovered this throughout my journey over the summer. You know, my health and wellness journey only got better and better, and there's been so many levels of the onion. Think of an onion and think of the skin that you peel back off the onion. And there's been so many of those layers of that skin peeled back, my friends, as I learned how to be my own best friend. And even saying that is still so heavy. We're gonna break that down about what that looks like. But for those that are not familiar, I'm gonna bring you up to speed. I went to the hospital in May with May 2023 with a headache. I couldn't open my jaw very well, and my head just beamed of my pain in my jaw. And for those that are catching the YouTube, I still have a swollen side of my face where my hand is here, and it impacts um, my general movement. And you can see where it's different. And I keep on trying to play with it, but I notice it. So I was diagnosed with neuralgia, and I have neuralgia in two spots in my head now. Um, One goes behind my ear, and that's the trigeminal one, and it kind of goes to the back all the way to the front, and it affects one side of your face. So it does affect my left hand side of my face, and that's where I notice a difference. And all the way down a little bit. So then the and I can't say it, geminal one hits more the back of my head, starts at the nape of my neck, the back of my head, into the top, including my forehead. So one is primary one side, one is the whole back and front of my head. And it includes not even being able to sometimes brush up my hair or even put my head on the back of a pillow. So what does this mean? This means I came out of the hospital on a cane, so many medicines, and this means that my world abruptly stopped. This means that I had no choice, my friends, but to become my own best friend. When, as I got healthier and healthier, and walking became something I could do often without the intensity of the medicines and walking with the cane, um, I started taking the dogs for a walk quite regularly. That was part of it. Just getting up, going for a walk, seeing what was around me. And, that brought in new sights and sounds. Journaling and reflecting. So journaling is, writing your thoughts down on a journal, and reflecting is using any kind of probes or oracle cards, or maybe you're religious and you open up what the Bible is and a passage jumps out at you. Anything like that, anything that you're inspiring to write about. and you're looking for some detailed information on it, those are called reflections in my mind. And I did that every day, and I got dressed every day. And I told myself every day that today's going to be a great day. I read every day. I sat by the waterfall every day. I changed my diet. I moved my body more and more. I saw some friends. They came to the house. I was blessed. My family was there quite often. It was lovely. But more and more, I spent more and more time with myself, with my thoughts, with the person who was going through this, with the person who felt the weight and the heaviness and the impact in every area of my life because of this and how everything was changing. And then my story with work, those doors got closed, which is okay. You know what? I'm okay with that. There's no hard feelings. Just because I share this isn't a bad thing. This is though the truth. And it's fine that you fell within the worlds like of the law. That doesn't bother me. The reality is the impact that has as somebody, as a person, that has an emotional impact. That's still the reality. The reality is somebody's still going through their own journey, and now they're adding this piece to the equation. And while they're at it, they're adding 2 or 3 other levels to the equation because there's so much going on, and yet they're on rest. And yet their routine is not what it was. Yet a win for them is getting up and starting your day and continuing through as much of your day as you possibly can. And the only way to do this is to become your own best friend. So, friends joining us, there's a little bit of an update. I'm not going to sit here in this space of loom and gloom, but it doesn't matter where you're at when you're listening to this at all. Put yourself in that place of how you felt with that person right there, just telling that story. What do you think that person's going to attract? So when she shows up wearing a very cute little polka dot top with some ruffles here and a nice headband where her hair is flowing. And again, for those listening to the audio, you can't see how I'm playing with my hair. And I'm actually wearing a blue and white polka dot top right now with a pair of jeans. And it's wholesome and it's fun. And I did my makeup, and all of these things make me feel good. And I drank my water, and I have a candle going, and I took Hannah for a long walk. And I had a great conversation with somebody a few minutes ago. And all of these things I love to do. All of these things I fit into my day, or I would love to fit in my day, because these are the things that Sonia likes to do. And when I do more of the things I like to do, I become more and more of my best friend. What does that mean to you? I can tell you what that means to me. It means falling in love with my morning routine. It means flowing from activity to activity. It means being patient, kind, calm, and understanding when every day doesn't work out the way you want it to. There is no right wrong here to take that judgment off your shoulders. Arm Boy, by the way, makes this amazing pineapple sparkling water. I have to do a special shout out for anybody that tried this, and I got the Farm Boy in London last week, and it's so good. Just saying. Okay, sorry about that. But okay, guys, that's not easy, right? Going through any kind of transformation isn't easy. And when so many different areas of your life are impacted, you can't control that, but you can control how you respond to that. So what does that childhood version of you want to do? Does she want to make a mud pie? Does she want to go for a hike and actually literally play in the mud and get a little bit dirty and scrape her knees and feel that sense of adventure? Whew. Does she feel like being creative and tapping into her paints or starting to write a book? Where is she landing right now? And you're only going to know where you're landing is if you actually pause and feel your vibration and listen to how your body is talking to you. You can only do this when you are your own best friend. So today we're going to have some takeaways for you. We're going to have a few stories, a few more stories, and I can tell you, being my own best friend is kind of awesome. If it took me 50 years to get here, it's awesome. I don't care so much about what other people think. I know my besties will be there when I decide to come out of my little hermit hole. I know I am juggling my own things right now, but because I've become my own best friend, I'm enjoying the journey a lot more. That's the difference. Before, when I wasn't my own best friend, there was a lot of self-judging. There was a lot of heaviness. There was a lot of checkbox this, checkbox that, go through the motions. But now, one of the things life has taught me is how short and precious it is how healthy we think we are, but are we though? How much we really think we're working hard with our day-to-day life, with our businesses, with our reach outs, with our expansions. But are we though? Does the shadow version of us know the truth? When we are our old and best friends, we love and appreciate both the darkness and the light. We appreciate the darkness and the light. We see each other, we see one another, we see ourselves all as a whole. And that wholeness is acceptance. That wholeness is love. That wholeness fills you up with that feeling of butterflies and makes you want to do more. See, because when you become your own best friend, everything is heart led. You can wake up without a plan and get everything done that's on your list. You can have amazing phone calls with the intentions of having them work with you and it happening. You can fall into harmony with the person that you are even quicker when you become your own best friend. All right, my phone. I don't think I know the person. Get a lot of messages when you don't know people. I do. I know I do. All right, let me just see what other notes I have here that I want to tap into today. Before I go into the details. Like I said, there'd be a couple of stories. Yeah, let's tap into my specifics now that we talked about this. So much has changed since I've learned to become my own best friend. It is safe, my friends, to become your own best friends. And I want to say that because when you hold a safe space for yourself, everything changes. You're not judging. You can do almost anything better when you come from the place of self-love and you release self-expectations. If we don't worry about our quest to be perfect and somehow we get over ourselves, then everything shifts from the way we appreciate our body image to any ideas towards weight loss, to any ideas towards perfectionism. We completely shift that when we become our own best friends. That idea of being perfect goes by the wayside because we are no longer our own worst critic. We're no longer pushing ourselves over and over and over again to do things that were not serving us because now we're leading with our heart. And the truth is, you're never late, you're always on time, and you're never, ever behind. But like any other learned behavior, we're going to have to unlearn this, unlearn the layers of self-criticism that you've been putting on yourself. And a perfect place to start is start expressing a little bit more self-love and self-acceptance. It's easier to do that, my friends, when you step into things that make you feel good. If you dress in clothes that make you smile, if you put on glasses that you're smiling back on, you put on a little bit of makeup, if you pick out a favorite coffee cup. I have like a little bit of coffee left. In this one, ironically enough, says be yourself. I have a candle going on in this office that helps me step into the environment of self-love and self-acceptance. See, we play candles or we put on candles when we're ready to have a loving romantic moment with somebody else. But how many of you put on candles for a nice, loving, romantic moment for yourself? Because you love it. I do. And I know I'm not the only one. So if you're looking for some good advice with how to love yourself, you're going to love today's episode. A guide that teaches you to ask the right questions and let your heart approach you. Let your life approach you with positivity and openness instead of criticism. You ready? We're going to dive into these top tips And first of all, before we go too far, it's really important. It's really important to understand why you need to learn how to love yourself, why this is so important. Before we get into the how, we must cover the why. And self-love as a concept was introduced in the 19th century by psychologist William Sweetser. And he studied the impact of mental hygiene on your overall well-being. Since then, the idea of self-love has gained in importance through psychological research, especially found in the number of connections between it and mental health, particularly self-based self-esteem and other based self-esteem programs, initiatives, thought processes. So, one of the keys to leading a happy life and a way to decrease stress and prevent procrastination, according to Psychology Today, is the acceptance and self love. Okay. And I've put together 4 different aspects of self love just to help you wrap your head around it. Self awareness is the ability to be conscious of your own thought process. Self worth, how we think about ourselves. What value, what worth are you putting on yourself today? Just accept it. Do not judge it. Self esteem is knowing that we are valuable and as well as that we aren't defined by success or failure. Our success or our failure does not define us. We are valuable without that label. And self-care is the act of doing what's best for us. Oh, guys, I know firsthand how long it takes to love yourself. And I also know that if you don't love yourself, you will be given many lessons until you do love yourself. And your world will change. And you'll question. And you'll wonder why. And then you'll go back and think about how cute those coffee cups were and they motivated you and what happened. Where did you drop that? How did that become so not important along the way? And that's where going inwards makes a difference. That's where understanding those healthy choices, the self-love, how it impacts your mental and physical well-being for the acceptance. I'm saying this, let me trip this. I'm tripping over this. Let me say this again with some after some water here. By being aware of the factors, you can make smart, healthier choices that do not sacrifice your mental or your physical health. Okay, so these changes will impact your personal development. It'll help you with continuous, sustainable improvements. And these improvements are all about self-love and being your own best friend. And the best way to be your own best friend is to start by giving yourself some attention. Just as you would nurture a child or a friend, you must do the same for yourself. How many times have you looked in the mirror and said something mean about yourself? How many times have you thought the words, I'm stupid, I'm incompetent, I'm lazy, just because you had made a mistake? How many times have you told yourself that you were not capable of achieving your goals? My guess is a lot. Way too many times. But think about it for a minute. What would you tell your best friend? Would you tell them that? Would you tell them those words? Would you tell your best friend that they are unworthy of love or attention just because they made the wrong decision or choice? Probably not. So the first thing towards how to love yourself and to be confident is to delete and eliminate any and all self-battering problems in your everyday routine. Love yourself first, and everything else falls into line. was Lucy Ball there. Call yourself out every time you have a negative thought about your actions. Treat yourself the same way as you would treat a loved one. Do what's right for you. This is the second point here. Create a self-care system that relies on understanding and kindness. Something that's going to enhance your sleep patterns, help you with healthy eating, your physical health, your emotional well-being. But sometimes it might empower you to ask for help. And we want you to go there. Okay? We want you to ask for help from other people because it'll make the next step a little bit easier, which is step number 3, which is all about enforcing boundaries, which is a prerequisite. It is 100% a prerequisite for mental and emotional health. I'm getting all passionate here, but when we put boundaries into place, it's going to help prevent burnout. It's going to help develop autonomy, as well as protecting, your identity, and it's going to stop you from being put in a situation where you have to say no all the time. It's going to leave a little space to help everybody practice that pause. So, step 1, how do you treat yourself? Talk to yourself. Step 2 is doing what's right for you. Okay, how does your heart feel about it? Is it bringing you towards healthier, happier self-care benefits? Then why not? And then step number 3 is to set boundaries into place. Beauty is when you can appreciate yourself, when you love yourself, that's when you're the most beautiful. That was Zoe Kravitz. All right, guys, there's a couple more here. Accept your mistakes as learning opportunities. There's a difference between our past and our present selves. Learn how to focus your energy on self-forgiveness and becoming better. Acknowledge the patterns you're not proud of. Try to find the logic behind your actions. Recognize the things you learn through these experiences or that you have been taught through these experiences and believe that you will attempt to do better next time. And then maybe ask yourself this last question. Consider whether you're holding yourself up to impossible standards or not. Did you set yourself up to fail? Fear of what, my friends? If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. And I think as a woman, we really forget that. We really do. All right, let go of harmful expectations. You still need to remain who you are. You still need to have these boundaries. There always will be something else that you need to do, something else that you need to change, some other area that you want to grow in, something else that you want to try. Those extra 10 pounds are always going to be lingering. Here's the thing. Flip that script where it's more about self-love versus never being able to catch up and keep up. Okay. Let go of all of the expectations of what you should be and do away with any of the conditions. You deserve to just cherish of what you did get done. Sometimes things are beyond our control. I heard this last week. Things are in our control 90% of the time. The other 10%, they're not in our control. So just trust. Let it go. Just trust that everything happens at the right time for the right reasons. All right. Learn how you can go with the flow instead of beating yourself up for past or present mistakes. Remind yourself to stay present. A trick I like to use for staying present is to wiggle your toes. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. See what happens? You automatically smile. And that's one way of shifting your mindset towards self-love. Another way is to take a hard look, my friends, at your beliefs and values. And those beliefs and values are going to help you prioritize self-love with your own unique everyday routine. My routine should look different than your routine should look different from anybody else's routine listening to this. But it's okay to start with somebody that you respect, somebody that you love. And remember to start small. The ultimate goal is to build a better relationship with yourself. You cannot expect yourself to do that overnight. You got yourself in this position over years and years and years. And the journey here is going to help you. It's going to allow you to thrive. The more you practice this, though, that's where you're going to glow. That's where you're going to grow the most. You know, after all, self-love isn't just about being happy in your own skin. It's about opening up a space in every single aspect of your life. Space to recognize your worth and to reach your full potential without being limited by your internal or external pressures or any learned behavior. It's beautiful. I just love how much I've grown in this area in the last 6 months. This has been my biggest gift that I've been given, guys, and not everybody is this lucky. So I am here holding up my heart and my arm to help bring you down this journey of self-love and self-awareness and to understand why there's no greater feeling than being your own best friend. Not only do you make choices for yourself, but it's empowering. It makes you feel sexy. It makes you want to do things for yourself. And when you do things for yourself, you glow differently. You become a lot more dependent versus codependent. I know we touched in a lot of that today. If you have any questions about that, let me know. If you're curious about my mindset makeover course, let me know. It's an ongoing course, so you just start when you start. And you're gonna love it because it's completely amazing. And that's all I'm saying about that. I do promise you, though, it will cover meals, movement, mindset, and your relationship with money. Ooh, that's all I'm giving you. Okay, and if you have not done so already, we are still going forward with the Healthy Eating on a Budget workshop for September 30th at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So go ahead and join us for this particular course. You're going to love it. It's completely free. So if you're an employer catching this, I hope you understood how becoming somebody's own best friend makes a big difference, especially if they're working from home, first of all, in any stage of their life, really. But more importantly, you're going to want to show up for this workshop as well. I'm offering one free seat for somebody at a company to come and try it with the intention of bringing these workshops into your workplaces to help with employee empowerment, employee engagement, and to help you, my friend, with retention. All right, guys, Sonia here. I am signing off. This was episode 160. Thank you for joining us today and make your day amazing.